chosen to be a research management development institute and internationalize our business. It is in this spirit of research, community outreach, and the National Documentation Center that Uganda Management Institute in 2018 accepted to partner with the African Leadership Institute with the support from Democratic Facility. Ours, as an academic institution, has been to bring three key principles of research in this exercise. That is, the credibility and the validity of the indicators of performance of this august house. 2, the reliability of the instruments, so that we are able to confirm that the indicators have been properly measured, such speeches in plenary or committees, participation and the consultancy work, and the domicile local governments, and remove any tendencies of biases. Let me emphasize, viewers and ladies and gentlemen, that as an institution of research, we are very, very careful to demonstrate any kind of bias. This morning I was reading one of our dailies, and they were saying this is a politically motivated and a well-targeted presentation. That's not so. Ours is purely academic, and we make sure that what we give you is authentically well-researched and well-analyzed. The third one is to ensure that the scorecard data collection, processing, and interpretation observe the international standards of ethical behavior in research. Our role is to make sure that quality is assured. That is, we advise that perimeters of performance be discussed with the members of Parliament. 2 consultative meetings took place last year in April and November 2019. In January 2020, we subject the indicators of performance and the process of measurement to peer review conducted at UMI. It was attended by academics from Makerere University, Uganda Management Institute, the Uganda Christian University, including selected key media actors. We followed the peer review with the interagency meeting which UMI chaired. It was attended by staff from parliamentary commissions, Foundation for Human Rights, Wiz Arts Foundation, IPIMM, and the AFRI board members. The discussion centered on what came from a peer review. To this point, ladies and gentlemen, as far as we are concerned, at UMI, we took due care as an academic institution, and it is our belief the scorecard represents what it is set out to measure. Viewers, I take this opportunity to observe that our partnership on this parliamentary scorecard and the civic engagement project includes other aspects, such as being the data governor and repository for all materials concerned with the scorecard, and therefore available in our library for posterity. Researchers can access them for their studies. In this partnership between the 3 organizations, we conduct quarterly policy dialogues under the National Policy Forum, where the Democratic Governance Facility is funded. We have jointly published quarterly policy briefs arising from the public dialogues on topical issues discussed in the Parliament, and in particular every quarter. Under the project, in our School of Civil Service, Public Administration and Governance at UMI, modules and the case studies to enrich teaching in public administration, particularly public sector monitoring and evaluation, are being developed. In conclusion, may I emphasize that this parliamentary scorecard has a big potential to improve governance overall through the impact of measurement. what gets measured tends to get done. It will also enhance civic engagement between the Parliament as an institution and the parliamentarians with the communities they serve. For us in UMI, we shall contribute our mission, that is to excel in development, practical and sustainable administration, leadership, and management capacity. I thank you, and I wish you nice deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. James Nkata. We now particularly know how this, the information, the statistics that did come through this particular report, which I do have, that the members within this room have already glanced at. Now, having known how exactly we came up with the information, we would like to also now get the ambassador representing the Democratic Governance Facility, Marco Drobio, the program and learning manager who is representing the Democratic Governance Facility. We would probably love to also know, and many would love to know, why you particularly got interested in finding out how the Ugandan legislators are actually performing. We know that you've injected quite lots of support in terms of time, in terms of money, but what's the value for money? That's a question that many would like to come up with. So, welcome.
Yes, well, thank you very much, and thank you also for this opportunity to say on behalf of DGF, the Democratic Governance Facility, a few words. Well, first of all, I would like to welcome also my colleagues, the MPs. I understand that the Deputy Speaker, is still on his way. But we are really pleased that this event is now happening. We thank Afli, our key partner in this, together with their partners to make this happen. We believe that it is a very important investment in parliamentary democracy. As DGF, we stand for a balanced investment in democracy, and that is the reason why we also found this project so important. And because we believe in that balanced investment in democracy, we're also pleased that the partners that Afli has selected are also well-known and recognized institutions that can guarantee also the objectivity of this performance scorecard. Why were we interested in this project? Is because we already had a good experience with district scorecards, district performance scorecards. And we thought, if that is working well, would it also work well at the parliamentary level? So DGF, as an initiative of 7 donors, we believe in this investment in state institutions and in non-state institutions like NGOs. We provide a broad support to civil society organizations, but also to state institutions like Parliament directly, the Institute for Parliamentary Studies, the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy that works with different political parties across the board, ruling party and opposition parties. We believe that balanced investment is important. And through such an investment, we believe that democratic processes that can build the relationship between citizens and the state can be reinforced. And that's why we have invested in this project. We believe that Parliament is a cornerstone institution in Uganda's democracy. It has a role in legislation, it has a role in oversight, and it has also a role in representation of the people. And for that reason, it is also important that people in the country know what Parliament does, what parliamentarians do. And I have to say, I think, excuse me, I think it is an extremely difficult job to be a parliamentarian in Uganda. There is a lot of confusion about the role of parliamentarians, I think. There is also maybe an overestimation of what can be achieved with the limited resources that are available in the country the challenges that the country is facing, but the demands, obviously, of people in the country are very high. So having more facts about what people are actually doing in Parliament is, I think, very important. It will help the citizens understand the work of parliamentarians better, and it offers also an opportunity to parliamentarians to engage more constructively with citizens in a dialogue, what is important and what they are doing about the priorities of people. So that's why I think this project also received the support of Parliament. I believe this is a start. We hope that with the next Parliament, after the elections, this will continue. And only when we see that this will continue and we can see a trend, we can actually truly see the value for money. Because value for money and impact are not shown in a one-off event. One parliamentary scorecard report is not going to prove that this project was a success or not. It will depend on successive parliamentary scorecards. So for that reason, I see this as a start and a very promising start of a longer-term investment in Uganda's democracy. I would like to thank all of you for tuning in into this event, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words on behalf of the Democratic Governance Facility. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Marco Rubio, for giving us those particular insights. We now know why you're particularly interested as Democratic Governance Facility in this. And this comes very timely because we're just a few months to the next general election, and we know that the electoral roadmap, which the Electoral Commission has decided to call hybrid, is in gear, and this is the time when electorates are supposed to be empowered to determine who their next leader should be. Coming up next is going to be a presentation of the key findings, of course coming in from our principal investigator. We've also had lots of complaints about the front benchers, the ministers, sometimes missing out when they have to be presenting key findings in their dockets. What about the special interest groups? Are they up to the task? The women in Parliament, are they up to the task? What happens in Parliament? What happens in the committees? And that's all based on the four roles of Parliament as well, which have been assessed: appropriation, representation, legislation, and oversight. Did Parliament perform well according to the roles that they are supposed to be taking on? So welcome with me Honorable David Pulkol, the Afli Executive Director, to take us through what exactly the key findings of this research were. Welcome, Mr. David.
Wow. Thank you very much, fellow countrymen, and of course, Dr. James Nkata, Director General of Uganda Management Institute, our own, and of course, Marcos, who is really, we say we are implementing this with the support from Democratic Governance Facility. We are so happy to have you here. And of course, Minister Honorable Sarah Opendi, who is the Minister of State for Mineral Development. And we are talking about mining data at the moment and digging deep and see the valuable information that comes out of it. And of course, Honorable Gilbert Olanya. And we have Dr. Kugonza, who is the Dean, School of Civil Service, Public Administration and Governance in Uganda Management Institute. He also happens to be a board member and a founder member of Africa Leadership Institute. So we're so happy that there is an intersection here. The staff of Africa Leadership Institute, Dr. Gerald Werike, who is head of research and civic engagement. We have Mr. Wambere Jonathan, who is in charge of quality and compliance and, of course, grant management within Africa Leadership Institute. Mr. Kintu, who is in charge of IT and data management, processing from FIT. We're so happy to be here. Now, starting is that we have a report here of about 780 pages of work which dig into the entire year of the third Parliament of Uganda, the third year session. And we give evidence-based information. If we don't have any documentary evidence, it will not be here. If we don't have any video or audio, the recordings of the committee or parliament or something like that, if we don't have photographs from the constituency, something like that, we will not put it here. So we rely heavily on evidence-based. And what we do not put here is we do not have evidence, and therefore we cannot stand by it. So this work of big volume to be launched today, we've summarized it in 16 pages to guide the media. We call it the media kit. And it is the popular version of this in 16 pages. And today we are also releasing a press release about this event. It also has a summary of the summary, if you like. So, and also in our website, and there's a particular website that we have created now for this. It's called mpscanuganda.com, meaning our MPs can do a good job, but it is also scanning the work of the MPs. So it's MP Scan, and it's a platform we have developed with the support of our partners and, of course, with the resources from DGF, where citizens will be able to reach their MPs 24/7, whether on Kabiriti phone or on Android or on iPad. And since our MPs have been given new offices called iPad, and so they are reachable anywhere else. But we try to filter the information that goes to them so that they are not bombarded with what is not. So I start an overview of the project. I think you'll find it in these documents. Why are we doing this? Next slide, please. Next, yes. There's a problem. Most Ugandans are not aware of the proper roles they are MPs. Some of them think MPs are the ones to single-handedly develop the constituency. Some of them think MPs are the ones to pay bills in hospitals or in the schools and so forth. They load them with a lot of responsibilities. But what does the Constitution say? And therefore, it's been difficult to follow the performance of MPs. Once we elect MPs, they come to Kampala, and they sit in closed doors in Parliament or in committees, or they're invited to meetings in the ministry. Shh, silence, a meeting in progress. So the Wananchi are not able to follow closely what is being decided, what has happened. But we thank the Parliament of Uganda because they've allowed the media in, they've allowed cameras in. So we're able to follow. But even if you follow, you can't follow for the whole year. So Africa Leadership Institute means that there's lack of information leading to lack of accountability, leading to uninformed voters, which results into weaker democracy. So therefore, we are here to get documentary evidence or evidence-based and put this information in the hands of voters so that they're able to ask their leaders. For example, individual performance. We assess individual MPs. And we also assess the institution of Parliament. Because the performance of the institution could affect the performance of the individual. Or the performance of the individual may affect the performance of the institution. So it is mutually reinforcing. But we have also added here an aggregation of regional performance and sub-regional. So when you look at our sub-regions or regions, which region has been attending more, which region has been engaging more on laws, on representation, on question time, on moving motions, and so forth. So you'll get it in this report. Next. So the parameters we use are attendance. Does your MP attend Parliament? Out of 108 pages, plenary meetings in the whole year, how many did your MP attend? And of course, in this report, you'll find some people did not even attend a single one. Others attended 2, others 3. Remember, it's 108 meetings. So the voters should be able to ask, Honorable, you are not in the constituency. Now in the scorecard, you're also not in Parliament. Where have you been? You know, this accountability. That kind of thing. Or How many questions did you raise? How many motions did you support? Did you move a private member's bill? Did you do what? And so forth. So we look at attendance, because this is not a radio station where you can call in, even if you're absent, you can call in and contribute. Parliament comes from the word parler, which is a French word, meaning talking, to talk. And that's why the head of parliament is a speaker. This is a talking house. You have to be there, you're a spokesperson, not of the police, spokesperson of the army, spokesperson of the division, spokesperson, but you're a spokesperson of your constituency. Now, when you don't talk, who will talk for your people? So, again, did your MP talk? When they were passing a budget, when they were discussing the other bill, did he talk? What did he say? So, these are things that plenary, MPs perform in 3 areas: plenary, committee, and constituency. So we look at both, all the 3 areas. All the performance in the 3 areas for each MP is here. We track them. In fact, in the committees, we record even their voices, and we transcribe. And our contribution, I think there's a parliamentary Hansard we are producing now. I think it's just been published. Sorry, we didn't bring it here. 70% of the work of parliament is in the committees. In the past, they only bring a report of 20 pages, 15 pages to the plenary. But now, Afli, with the support from UMI, and of course with our partners, we are able to produce committee answers, which is different from other Commonwealth parliaments. They don't produce committee answers. But now in Uganda, through this project, you can now see, even if your MP did not talk in the House, in plenary, at least he talked in the committee. You can see verbatim what he or she said. And that's very good for MPs, because even if you did not speak in the plenary, at least you were able to contribute. Next. So, key findings. Average attendance was found to be fair. Fair in that score, I don't know whether you're able to screen for those on TVs for citizens to see. Fair is 24 to 29 to 49, below 50. Attendance of parliament was found to be fair. It is under 50%, meaning that it's not very poor, it's good, it's not good, but it is fair. So attendance is an issue. And if you don't attend, then where do you go? And we've been hearing the speaker complaining from time to time about attendance. So we found that male MPs average percentile, meaning they attend 40, they are better than, the attendance of male MPs is better than 47%. So you are in the 47th percentile, meaning you are performing better than 47%. While female MPs attend 45.5 in the percentile. So it's very close. But none of them is in 50. None of them is attending 75%. None of them is attending 60%. So this is an area to improve. So, but what is interesting is, despite forming relatively a lower number of MPs, meaning women, the women in our parliament constitute 34.9%. And the majority are males, and the females are less. But we find that the female MPs attend plenary more. I don't know why. And the males are not attending plenary more. So the women beat the men in attendance of plenary sitting. And yet it is the plenary where these things are passed. That's when the law is passed, that's when the budget is passed, that's when those decisions, policies are approved, and budgets, all these things are approved. But the majority who are attending are female. There are 118 when we looked at. So attendance of females is 60.16%, while the male is 49.9% in terms of attending the plenary. Now, next. Yes. Now, the outstanding front bench among the female, or with a 95% percentile, is Honorable Betty Aol, who is the leader of opposition. In terms of her attendance, she beats 95% down, okay, in terms of her attendance. followed by Honorable Achieng Sarah Opendi, who is here, the minister. She's so religious about attending the plenary, and she attends 95.9%. So we celebrate her, we celebrate our constituency for really that you are not letting your voters down, because you are there where decisions are made, and you cannot miss. Then the best backbencher is Okorimoy Janet Grace Akech, woman MP for Abim, 93.7% attendance. And then followed by Honorable Nachiwala Florence Chihingi at 80% percentile. These are ex-official. These are people who are not voted, but those appointed by the president, because the Constitution allows the president to appoint 10 people to parliament. But she beats all of them, those who are appointed, whose constituency the president. Okay, 80% in terms of attendance. Then among the workers MPs, the one who excelled is Honorable Kunihira Agnes at 69% percentile. She beats all those workers MPs and even other MPs. Now, again, among the youth, it's the lady again leading, Honorable Adeke Anna. You can see I've just mentioned the women who are attending Parliament. And next, in committees, the story changes. The males perform better than the females in the committees in terms of attendance. And here, that's where they attend like 39.4%, while women attend only 12.9%. So, and yet it's in committees where things are thrashed out, homework is done, and then presented to the plenary. For example, the best attending is Vice Chairman of Budget Committee, Honorable Wamakuyu Mudumi Ignatius from Bulambuli. He tops everybody at 91%. Then Nambeshe John Baptist, again from Bududa. Hey, what's happening with Mount Elgon? The 87% percentile. Then Honorable Lugolobi Amos, MP from Kayunga District. Again, tops is the most outstanding. Among the productive committees, how productive is your committee? You went to the garden, you brought these bags of maize, potatoes, something like that. So what did you get from your committee? So we found the committee which is most productive, 13 reports for that year, is the budget committee. So we really want to thank that committee of Parliament. Again, who is the highest average member of attendance? Which committees attendance most? Again, the budget committee at 66.6%. Next. Now, legislation, when we go regional, we found Northern Uganda MPs, on average, attend plenary more at 20.2%. Imagine, not even 30, but they are the best in attending plenary. Followed by Eastern region at 20.5%. Then Western region comes at 18.16%. In terms of, if you're looking for who does not attend, where are they from? If you're looking for who to, okay, you can locate them easily. And again, Central region is poor in attending plenary at 16.0%. Where do they go? Chikubo, where are they? In Kampala, where? What's going on here? Now, representation, okay? Representation, meaning for you to represent your people, raising like even attendance. For example, the highest average committee attendance is 48.8% from Eastern region. Eastern region tops in representation, followed by Central region, which is 43.2%. Then Northern region is number 3, 41.9%. And then, of course, Western region is the last, which is 39.2% on representing their people in the plenary. Now, when you come to oversight, you know, MPs are nyamparas. They are supervisors of the executive. They are the ones who check. They are the head prefects who check this ministry, that. In fact, if you bring anything to Parliament, they say take to that committee on agriculture, on donor presidency, on what. So unless they have thrashed it out, you can't present it here. So what is the performance? Again, oversight issues on regional, Western Uganda tops 35.78%. Again, Central region, second, 26%. Again, Northern region, and here Eastern Region is the last at 11.08%. Now, when you come to petitions, petitions are public complaints which you present and you petition Parliament, and you lay it on the table. You raise a petition, and it is there, and your people are complaining. So out of the 12 petitions of that year, imagine 12, not 50, not 100, are Ugandans not complaining? But here, there are only 12. But out of the 12, the majority of these came from, of the petitions came from Western Uganda MPs, 33.3%, followed by Eastern Uganda, 22%, Central Uganda, and there was not a single petition from Northern Uganda. Maybe the Northern Uganda people are okay, there is no complaint, and therefore no MP from Northern Uganda brought any petition on the floor of Parliament. Really? No complaint? Everything is okay? Then we go to questions raised. Every Thursday, there is question time. MPs are allowed to ask any minister any question, even the Prime Minister, any question, don't fear. Okay, either oral or written. Now, did your MP ask a question? You ask them, Honorable, we see 0 in the scorecard on questions. You could not even ask a question about our schools, about our roads, about the state of our health. You fear ministers or what? Why didn't you ask a question? Or those who have asked how many questions, we put them there in the score sheet. So in the regions again, question time, who led? Central Uganda. Our Lord, they are good at asking questions. 27.2%. Yeah. You can't survive those questions. But anyway, Eastern Uganda second, 25.8%. Northern Uganda, 17.2%. Western Uganda last. I don't know why they don't ask questions much. Maybe they're okay. Is it true? No. I'm sure the voters there will have to ask questions. Then the most engaging in moving amendments. You see, Parliament passed 26 laws. Who actually moved amendments to make that law, to amend this clause, amend that? Where did they come from? Again, Central Uganda, Central Region MPs were very good at making amendments, to improve this law and so forth. Followed by, again, Western Uganda, Northern Uganda third, and of course, Eastern Uganda at 21.8% of all the amendments that were moved. So we thank next. Now, let's look at the institution. How did the institution of Parliament perform? The details are here. Now, overall performance of Parliament scored 60% overall on legislation, representation, oversight, and exemplary leadership. Average is 60%. It is good. It's not poor. It's not fair. It is above 50, 60%. I think we thank our Parliament for really performing at 60%. But it is not very good because 65. It's not excellent, 75%. If it was in a university, what grade would that be, sir? 60%. It would be a pass. But nonetheless, it is above average. So we're very happy. So on legislation, passing laws, our Parliament scored 61%. On representation, 51%. Oversight, 73%. Appropriation, passing budget, 54%. Exemplary leadership. Leadership here is the leadership code and order, rules of procedure. So again, no member of Parliament. Next. But there are triumphs. There is where this Parliament triumphed. Where was that? On 15th August 2018, there was only one minister in Parliament. And there were issues of concern raised. So the Speaker closed the House and sent the Prime Minister to go and look for the ministers. You're taking us lightly. So Parliament asserted its foot. And that's a triumph. Again, civil aviation, the minority report took the day. Again, Minister of Internal Affairs started issuing passports to the East African community. Parliament put its foot down. You have not told us about the East African Treaty. Was it ratified? Has it been domesticated? Halt that. And Parliament was able to assert itself. That's a triumph. Again, citizens lost their business in South Sudan, and they have not been paid. So Parliament put its foot down and brought a comprehensive list for these citizens of ours to be paid, not only a small list, a comprehensive. I think they worked in the national interest. Next, there are many triumphs in this report. Again, next, on commendation, where do we commend, where did Parliament do better? On laws, they passed 27 laws. We put a constitutional requirement using the Constitution. Is any law passed by Parliament contradicting Constitution of Uganda? We found all the 27 passed the test. So Parliament scored 100% score. Because the Constitution says any law, custom, or practice which is inconsistent with the Constitution, that law is null and void. We thank our Parliament for upholding the Constitution. Again, two, we brought sustainable development goals. The laws that our MPs passed, do they address one or more or several parts of sustainable development goals? And all of them passed the test of SDGs. So it means our Parliament is contributing to the implementation of sustainable development goals. Again, another test. If the President does not sign the law, if any Parliament has passed, it does not get the effect of being a law. So how many passed the test? The President brought back 3 out of 27. Like in school, they say, headmaster says, do corrections in the following areas. So our Parliament was able to rectify the 2, and the 1, they got caught up by time, and that's the sugar bill they pushed to 4th year. Okay? So again, they scored 96.3% on that one. Now, we found that the majority of laws, 65% of the laws they passed were new laws. Only 18-point-something% were old laws. Again, we thank our Parliament because it is breaking ground, not just amending a clause here, a clause there. Next, representation. Next, I think you'll get all issues of national concern. Previous, out of 437 issues of national concern, we thank our Parliament. They decided that 98% should be addressed in that 3rd session. Only 1.1% was put to the 4th session. Again, when you see how many were responded to, 83% was responded to instantly by ministers. As the MPs raising, the ministers are there responding to these issues. So we thank government, we thank Parliament, leaving 165 issues to be resolved in the course of the year. By the time the year ended, 179 questions had not been, 179 questions had been responded to, and 16.7 questions have not been answered by ministers. I think that's what the lead of government business needs to do. What happens to those questions which were not answered in a year, and we have moved to the 5th year now? So those citizens who are asking those questions. Next, oversight. Our Parliament did a good job. Overall, if there's anywhere where they have done wonders, it is oversight. They scored 73.4%. They just missed only 2 marks to be excellent. Just 75 and above. Next, appropriation. Yeah, that's where they let us down. They are very good at scrutinizing the budget committee, and they tell you the problem of debt overhang. You know, some loans are even, we're paying interest even before they have been disbursed. And yet they go ahead again and approve more. They even say we are nearing 50%, and yet they go. They even say that this NDP, this budget of local government is not aligned to NDP 2 of that ministry. We were expecting them to withhold the budget until the PS realigns the sector strategy to the development plan. But they went ahead and passed. They let us down. So they violated the Public Finance Management Act. Why should Parliament break its own laws? And these are laws of Uganda. So failure to sanction. They investigated the Bank of Uganda. They did a good job, but when it came to taking action, they became shy. So they failed to sanction. So should people who have not aligned their ministerial policies and budgets to the National Development Plan, should such a PS remain a PS? Should such a person remain a cow in that district? Should they continue to manage resources? Because you are not realigning your work to the National Development Plan. I think that's what we expect our Parliament. Next, on recommendations, you'll get it. On order and decorum, I'm saying that no member of parliament was taken to the disciplinary committee. I think really they deserve I think they behaved well. On rules and procedure, they used the rules of procedure 277 times. But 245 of those are only rules of order. Is it only one rule in the book? Are there no other rules? So, Jama, why are you using only one rule? Do we order? If you read the answer, just order. Next. So I think maybe we need more refresher as the course. The one they got at the beginning is not enough. Our recommendations are there. Let's go to the next. I think I'm now time barred. Next. Next. Now. Excuse me now. How are you going to access? You launch, option 1, to get a report card. You go in, even right now. You can put www.mpscanug.com if you want to get a report card of your MP now. It's now on site now. You can even download, you can print, you can do a report card for your MP. How do you do it? You log in. If you're already a user, just go ahead and proceed. If you're a new user, start a new account. Procedure number 3, go to the main menu bar. When you see scorecard, there's a drop down. If you want an individual scorecard, you select individual, and then it will take you there. And you can search the name of your MP, bookmark. You search the name of your MP and it will pop out. And then you can, like for example now, you can even open a book. Yes, you flip it for me. Who is this one? Belinda. Who's this one? Yes, and I think this one is Ebona Babibu Josephine. Attendance 0. Oh, sorry. Okay, you can look. And also the projects the MP is involved in the constituency. Those are the ones. She buys chairs, she buys an ambulance for the constituency. You can see she supports money groups, circles, and so forth. So we do research in all constituencies throughout Uganda, and we've documented what each MP is doing. And because it's not their role, but we use a scorecard to advertise so that voters do not think this MP is doing nothing. Even if he's not in the house, even if he were, but what is he doing in the constituency? So that's a bonus here. Others are buying horse, others are buying what seats. Next, I think that's what I can say for now. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Wow, now it's time for us to know an MP who scored 0 at whatever they're doing. It's a beautiful one. Once again, you're going to use the www.mpscanug.com. Let's go and find out. Since the election is even going to be, the campaign is online, it's time now for us to say online, MP, you're coming to speak, but you scored 0 in attendance. You scored 0 in this particular order. So I think this is a very, very great piece of information that we ought to be using. We are rushing up against time, and we would like to have some reactions from the members of parliament. And I would start off with Honorable Sarah Cheng Opendi to tell us what she thinks about this particular scorecard. I know there are many people out there who are now waiting to use the information to throw out the incumbents after they scored 0. Honorable Opendi, please come.
Thank you very much, Mildred. I want to congratulate the Africa Leadership Institute, Uganda Management Institute, and DGF for bringing out this scorecard at this critical time when we are supposed to be getting back to our constituents, the voters, and seeking for re-election. Certainly, of course, I must say that Mr. David Pulkol, you are not popular because those who will have scored 0 will definitely not forgive you. And it will be worse if they lose the elections. And this is why I think at some point some people were even questioning this. But I remember, for me, I find it as a tool that is good to tell our people out there, let the public know how we have actually performed as members of parliament. And of course, when you bring in Uganda Management Institute to actually analyze the data, then that brings in the professionalism. And I don't think anybody will question that, because if it was you alone, as Mr. Poole called Africa Leadership Institute, maybe there may be questions, having been a member of parliament before, and of course the political side is not completely erased from you. So to me, I think this is important, but it also tells us that the performance of members of parliament is actually key for the success of business of parliament. Because without us being present and, attending to parliamentary business, parliament maybe would not have scored the 60% that was reported in the third session. So for me, I actually welcome this, but also it's good for our populations to know that sometimes some members of parliament may be absent in the constituency, but if they are present in parliament and have actually performed and excelled, then because we have various roles as members of parliament, the legislation role, the oversight role, we have also the appropriation role, but of course also the leadership role, being present in the constituency. So at least somebody should be able to score in either 4 of those, or at least some of them. So generally, I must say that for me, it's okay. But also, it's important for members of parliament to know that we have, as members of parliament, we have sometimes some other businesses. We have private businesses. Some may be having other engagements before they came to parliament, and they carry on with those. Some maybe even go to school. But it's important that one balances your time. I am a minister, and I'm happy. Thank you. I thank God that I've been able to excel, both as a minister, but also as a member of parliament in my constituency. I'm actually present in my district. So people need to know, leaders need to know that they need to balance their time. And once you balance your time, once you're committed, have the passion, because when you go to seek for votes, it's not something that is simple. You have to move, you spend money, spend time. Sometimes the whole day, the whole night, you are actually working, trying to convince people to vote for you. And once you have been voted in, please have that commitment and passion and love your job. So balancing is quite important. So I think briefly, that is what I can state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Saro Pindi. This business of saying, I am busy, time is always created by the people. Please, members of parliament, we'll see your zeros very soon and we will display them in media. Well, I want to also invite Honorable Gilbert Olanya to come and tell us what he thinks about this. I want to look at your scorecard and find out how you perform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank the Africa Leadership Institutes, DGF, and all the partners. Really, it's very important to know what members of parliament are doing. We are holding the office as being member of parliament for the people. Therefore, to me personally, I really welcome this finding, and I'm very comfortable and I'm very grateful for that. I thank you so much, Africa Leadership Institutes. When you look at your findings, you mentioned about the petitions. It is quite unfortunate that you are dwelling only on the third sessions in the parliament. Because from your findings, when you stated that Northern Uganda did not present any petitions, I was trying to look at how we used to present petitions on the floor of parliament. We really presented very many petitions as members of parliament from Northern Uganda. For example, about the war victims, we presented that petitions. About the compensations of animals that were lost during the war in Acholi, about land issues, but mostly you are dwelling on the third sessions. We might have presented those petitions on the first sessions, second, or fourth sessions. I really feel next time, exactly. So I really feel next time is quite important to look at all the lives of members of parliament, from the first sessions up to the last sessions. There, it will make a very concrete report. Looking at the engagement of other members of parliament, it is true, from your report, you may say other members of parliament did not attend the parliamentary plenary. And you should note that members of parliament have so many engagements. Others might have gone outside the country, and I do not know how you are taking that into considerations. Because when you have been assigned by the Speaker of Parliament or the government to maybe act on the behalf of the government outside Uganda, I think you need to look at that very seriously. Otherwise, I'm really so grateful. This finding is very important. It's going to help so many members of parliament on the ground. And it's quite important for voters to know where a member of parliament is. If you are not in the constituency, you must be in parliament or you must be outside the country. Because you cannot be voted to represent your people in the constituency. You come to Kampala, you keep quiet, you don't go back, you take 4 years, you go specifically to seek for votes from members from the voters. I really feel that is quite serious. Therefore, your role shall open up our eyes. I am very confident in the coming parliament, in the 11th parliament, we are going to improve quite seriously. I would like to thank you. At least when I look at my performance, it's not all that so bad. And I pray that next time I will never disappoint my voters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Gilbert Olanya. I know, yes, Africa Leadership Institute may not be very popular with those that didn't have very good scores, but this is a wake-up call to our members of parliament, like Honorable Acheng said. Honorable Sarah Pendi said that we need to balance. Life is about balancing up time. We need to be winding up this particular session, and our very last speaker will be the Africa Leadership Institute Board Chair, who is joining us live from Liberia, Dr. Thelma Awori. I hope that you've been following up and you're able to listen through. I know it's about 7 a.m. in Liberia, right about this time. Let's welcome Dr. Thelma Awori, the Board Chair, Afli, to give us the closing remarks.
Good morning, everyone. It's very nice to join you, and I want to congratulate Afli for this launch. It's been a long journey, and I'm glad we've arrived at this day. I'd first of all like to thank the Parliament and parliamentarians, the Speaker and individual parliamentarians for opening up the institution to scrutiny and to assessment. I think that their predisposition to transparency is a good indication of where we are going in our journey towards good governance. I also would like to thank DGF for supporting Uganda in its journey to good governance. I think they've been very good supporters of this. UMI for your partnership. It's been a wonderful partnership. You, together with the other institutions of higher learning, it's going to be excellent that we have the repository of this information in Uganda and not in the United States as it was before. And just having all of this material in UMI means that our researchers and our students will have access to it. You can see that this is a very rich document that students will be able to use. I also would like to thank all the citizens that engage with this process, and I'm sure that they all will see how useful this instrument is for them as they go towards making wise choices soon. We hope. We don't know exactly when yet. And I'd like to take this opportunity to remind our citizens that we have committed ourselves to certain obligations in the AU, which has to do with parity and gender equality. And you have seen the performance of women assessed. So I hope that when you make choices, you will remember that we are moving up the ladder in terms of the representation of women, and that the women who come to Parliament are doing very well. Then I would like to thank the media in particular. They've been just absolutely generous with all of their time and facilities, and they are part of this team that is going to educate the public about how people perform when they are given responsibility. And because we don't have much time, let me just say that the athlete team deserves a lot of accolades because this has not been an easy job. We have had to work very hard and we've gone through very many difficulties to get this report out to you. This is not the first report, but there will be other reports. And thank you all panelists for coming and for supporting Afli, to the Deputy Speaker who's there now, I hope, and to all the other parliamentarians and to you, Mildred. I hope it's Mildred still. I missed the first part, so I'm not sure who is moderating. But just thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Thelma Wari, for those particular... All right, thank you very much, Doctor. And it's been a pleasure having you attend different time zones, but you managed to catch through. And I want to remind our viewers that this discussion has just started because the scorecard has just been launched. And there are more discussions that are going to go on. I know there are concerns that are going to be raised with regard to some of the data that was collected in the particular period of time, what could have been the constraints. So watch out for all the Vision Group outlets, print media and online. The radios and television stations will be broadcasting this live. And we'll also follow up on all the other media stations. Next Media will as well be following up on a number of these issues. We will want to continue looking at how our members of parliament are scoring, because that vote is your purchase to freedom, is your purchase to ensuring that services are delivered. It's not a purchase to getting a bar of soap or a kilogram of sugar or something like that. So once again, just go to www.mpscan.com and you will be able to find out how your member of parliament is performing. Central Region members of parliament and them not attending in the third session will also be able to find out. But because of time, and I know how precious time is for broadcast, I want to go ahead and continue to thank Africa Leadership Institute, the Democratic Governance Facility, and FIT Concepts as well for ensuring that this does come to pass, and all the partners, including the Uganda Management Institute. We want to bring this to a close, but the discussion definitely will be able to continue. I remain Mildred Tuhai. Say good morning and God bless you.